Season 2 needs to be absolutely perfect. Here's the problem with Call of Duty. Season 2 is make it or break it, okay? If this season doesn't do what every other season was supposed to do, this game's done for. 70% of players on all platforms have already left Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 to play anything else, okay? Warzone 2, whether you like it or not, is a flop. This game had over, I don't know how many millions of players and has dropped drastically in I can't even tell you how many days. But losing 70% of your players is terrible. Terrible. I never saw Warzone 1 hit 30K viewers on Twitch, and I saw Warzone 2 do that 7 days in a row. That is insane to me. People on Warzone 2 are getting banned for getting 10 eliminations, okay? There are things that are being added to Warzone 2 that should just be in there. Stat tracking's not even in Warzone 2. We barely just got stat tracking for multiplayer, and no one knows when stat tracking's going to be in Warzone 2. It could be this season, could be next season. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And it's ridiculous. I'm so confused about what happened between the time Warzone 1 came out and Warzone 2, because apparently they've been working on it since then, right? But the reason Season 2 is the backbone of this game and will be the make it or break it season is because in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, guess what? You hit level 250, you can't level up until the next season. You just can't. It's impossible. You can't do it. You can't prestige. Okay? You don't even get anything for hitting level 250. Once the weapon grind's done, which is the easiest weapon grind we've ever had, there's nothing to do in the game. You can play the same boring 4 maps because every other map got copywritten and Call of Duty can't use them. You can play the same 4 maps if you like, but even that gets stale. So if Season 2 doesn't have at the very least 5 maps, because we were promised, like, I think 12 maps, and half of those can't be used, this season needs to have 5 maps that are not broken or glitchy at all, because players are tired of your broken glitchiness, and this is just for the multiplayer side of things. I'm not even talking about Warzone yet. Multiplayer needs more weapons, more game modes. Add prop hunt back. Add, I don't know, infected back. Add all of these different game modes back so that people can have fun playing your game instead of having to sweat 24/7. Like, there's so many things that should be added into multiplayer that should have just been in there off rip. It honestly feels like devs didn't even touch this game before it came out, right? And now, since we can even talk about Warzone 2 is a flop. That game crashed and burned worse than any other battle royale ever. This was supposed to be the biggest game of all time. And Activision thought that. I thought that. Every creator thought that. I'm sure you thought that this game was supposed to be the biggest BR of all time. And it crashed and burned terribly because of laziness from the dev side of things, because of broken bugs and glitches that we still have to deal with, like, 2 months into it, that aren't even supposed to be getting fixed. We can't even tell how many wins we have unless we look at calling cards. Like, there's so many things that are wrong with Warzone 2, and it's hilarious. And not to mention, the 2 favorite game modes from Warzone 1, Rebirth Island and Plunder, aren't even confirmed for this season. Plunder's not even confirmed ever. And those are your 2 biggest games. Warzone 1 BR didn't do that well after Caldera came out. Resurgence saved it. Plunder saved it because people could do whatever they wanted. And you just said, we can go 4 seasons without that. We can go 3 seasons without that. If it releases Season 2, we could go 2 seasons without that. But even then, you released Resurgence Season 2. Guess what? The TTK is still impossibly difficult to beat if you get shot first. There's almost 0 outplay potential if someone has a gunshot on you, which shouldn't happen in battle royales. I'm sorry. I've never played a battle royale where I got 4 shot by an AR or even 3 shot. That just doesn't make sense. The TTK is perfect for multiplayer. Don't get me wrong. Multiplayer is not even that bad. But the TTK for Warzone should not be anywhere close the same for multiplayer. And that's, again, because of lazy devs, because they didn't change the weapon damage from multiplayer over to Warzone. All they did was change player health. And you can't do that. You have to have it be separate. And they didn't make it separate. And that's why everyone, including me, was excited for Warzone 2 because I thought it was going to take a step away from the multiplayer side of things. So every other year or every year, we don't have to deal with this company coming in, having this OP gun, nerfing these, nerfing this, nerfing that, and having to try to mash 8 multiplayers together into one giant mess of a BR. I thought they were going to take a step away and have their own dev team for Warzone 2. And they didn't do that. And this is a perfect example of why they should have. Because now you almost have to change every little bit of Warzone 2 to make it good. Every little bit. The TTK is broken. The map is fantastic. I love the map. The TTK is broken, though. No guns are balanced in Warzone. The Fennec, or the Fen, whatever you want to call it, and the PKM, or whatever, the RPD, whatever, is broken. No gun can compete with them. And that's just the fact of the matter. Like, the game's glitchy, it's buggy, it's laggy, it's not optimized well for PC. Even console players have been complaining about it. And you're just not, no one cares. There's glitches where I can still get into walls on Warzone 2 that have been out since Warzone 2's release. And none of it has been even talked about. I mean, today, people are getting banned for having 10 eliminations in Warzone. What is going on? This is why Season 2 is such a big deal. Because if Season 2 releases a Resurgence map, players are not going to touch it if there's glitches, bugs, and the TTK is the same. Players will not play it. They don't care. They do not care. They don't. Not to mention loadout drops. Those should have been in the game already. Not sure why they're not. All of these different things. Perks don't even work still. All of these different things that should have been just in the game. Quality of life updates that Warzone 1 had. Scrapped all of them. Why? For what? To add them back in 4 months? Nice. Good job. Really proud of you guys over there. Like, I don't know how they released this and said, yeah, it's going to be a 2-year game. I really don't. And I hate venting and complaining about this game, but if no one fucking does it, Activision is not going to change whatsoever. Activision is not going to care. I know all these other Call of Duty partners are scared to voice their actual opinions on the game because they have to play it and they have to deal with it all day long, but I don't care. I don't care if I never get invited to a COD Next event because I post realistic content about $1 billion corporation that can't come out with a fixed game after, what, almost half a year of it being out? I'm so confused of what's going on. And it's not like, oh, you know, the game's bad. Like, multiplayer's bad. They'll just fall back on Warzone 1. No. Oh, no. Warzone 2 is what we get to fall back on. And now that everyone says Warzone 2's trash, your player base is in fucking shambles. I don't care. I don't care if I never get invited to COD Next. I don't care if people think all I do is complain. But I don't think people understand why I complain. I love Call of Duty so much. This is one of the first video games I ever played. This is one of the first video games I ever made money off of. My dream is to be a Call of Duty content creator, and I love COD to death. That's why I complain about it so much, because every little detail that was good about Warzone 1 got fucking thrown in the trash just to be added back. And it makes no sense. I'm like, they're not listening to anybody but it's not even like they listen to the casual community anymore. Like, the casuals are even like, what the fuck am I playing? No one knows. Like, it's like a weird subset of people that don't even like the game, and casuals aren't even enjoying their time. So it's like they made this game to basically just kill off COD, it feels like. So honestly, if Season 2 is a flop, mark my words, this game's done. If Season 2 is an absolute flop, this game is done, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's just the truth.